Welcome everybody. For those of you that might not know me, my name is Circe Denyer. I have a CL designation and a CC award with Toastmasters. Like I said a few minutes ago, I have my CC in 4 months and my CL in 5. That was not a rush. I was able to do that slowly and steadily by doing it with a plan in mind, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Circe, when did you join Toastmasters?
June 30th, 2012. Heard about Toastmasters last year, January 2012, at this location. So, what I want to talk about today is not specifically how you can get your DTM, but how generally you can get your DTM. And my word to you is set your goal, set your path. This is a path you're going to take because you want it. But it's not something that you have to go, God, I got to work hard at it. This is something that you're going to do by being a Toastmaster and participating in Toastmasters. It's going to come fast and it's going to come naturally. So what I have for you in your possession is several pieces of paper that are going to help you make those goals. The first one I want to talk about is the least used manual that every beginning Toastmaster should become familiar with immediately. Whether you're a club president, VPE, marketing person, or just another member, you really need to give your brand new members this heads up. They get 2 books. They get a CC book, which is really easy to follow, do 10 speeches. That's so easy. That CL manual, it's a little daunting at first. But this Competent Leader Tracking Form gives them a visual picture of what it's like to track their progress in a CL manual. It tells everyone when they did what they needed to do in a grid. Now, not everybody's visual and not everybody's literal. We're all built differently. But this is a real easy way that people can figure out how many times they need to be evaluated for the CL manual in these roles. Take one of these, and one of those. And this is my evaluation form. Thank you. Make sure you sign the sign-in sheet.
You've taken it down to the number you have to do, not the number in the book.
The number, it occurs in the manual all over the place, but you have to, no, it occurs in the blank spaces. Speaker occurs twice, Project 4 and 5. And speech evaluator occurs 4 times in the roles, and it's 1, 2, 3, and 8. Now, the thing I want to say that is absolutely the most important piece of information I got, you do not need to do anything in order in Toastmasters. I did speech number 10 in the CC manual the 3rd time I spoke. Speech number 10, the 3rd time I spoke. Now, why did I do that? I had joined Toastmasters for Leaders as my 2nd club, and I wanted a really, really robust evaluation. I didn't want just a mediocre evaluation. I wanted something really robust, and I knew that these advanced Toastmasters would give it to me. And the inspirational speech at the end of the CC manual is more complex, it's a little longer, and I really wanted some great feedback. Linnea, would you give this to Drew? Thank you. So, if you look at this sheet and you run down this, it's easy to tell when you go to a meeting if you need to do that role. So let's say you go to a meeting and they're short a role, some sort of role. You look at your sheet and you go, oh, I haven't filled that in yet. Let me do that. You volunteer, you've completed that task. Very important. The other thing is, the more complex items like mentoring a new member, mentoring an existing member, guidance committee member, these tasks can be completed by you very easily. I was a brand new Toastmaster, I chaired a contest, I completed one of these. These are not impossible to do. It's not that difficult. You can do it. And once you do the hard things, these role fills fill in really quick, and you've got your CL done. Very important to tell your new members this. This is really important. Okay, so that tracking sheet is basically a guide to anybody who wants to know how they are doing on the CL manual. Okay. The CC manual is easy, right? 10 speeches, complete them. But if you're in a busy club or an advanced club or a club with a lot of members, getting those 10 speeches in might be really difficult. What I discovered was that I could get those 10 speeches in by participating in demo meetings, and when contests come about, when we're doing evaluation contests, they need test speakers. I was a test speaker twice. That gave me 2 more speeches. I also got invited to other clubs to speak, so I was able to speak at those clubs and get another couple speeches in. That's how I did it. I didn't rush. I just found out that those opportunities are there. And if you look for those opportunities, they're everywhere. You can do this. You can complete that CC quickly. Now, Lance said it this morning. The award and the feeling of accomplishment is fabulous when you get that CC done. It's great. I'm working on my ACB right now and my ACL, or no, my ACB and my ALB. That's my next step. I want those done. Why? Because I want my DTM. So, this is an interactive class, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I did my plan to get to DTM and why Linnea believes that I'll make it by November 2013. This worksheet is your mind map. It's your mind map for DTM. What I did is I sat down with Linnea, and she went through this with me, showing me how it's done and what I needed to know ahead of time, because that's where I started to set my goals. So what I want you to think about is, by looking at this sheet, what I want you to start to mentally think about is, how can I accomplish that? And when can I do that? Now, for a lot of people, thinking up what they're going to speak about is the hardest part. For other people, writing the speech itself is the hardest part. But I'm telling you this, if you will take this worksheet and make notes to yourself about what you would speak about in these spaces, you'll be ahead of the game. And that's what I did. Now, the greatest thing about this sheet is it gives you exactly what you need to do for each section of the DTM goal, this path that we're on. So in the communication track, we're all pretty sure we know what we're doing, 10 speeches, here's what the subjects are. What if you know a member or you're mentoring a member that doesn't know what they want to do for those speeches, sit down and give them some ideas. When I saw organize your speech, because I was thinking about things, I knew exactly what subject I would use for that speech. I went, oh, you know, I'll do a speech on that. I wrote it down. It wasn't on a form like this, it was in a book, and I still have that book. And I wrote down every one. And when we got to Your Body Speaks, I imagined myself talking about something where I would have to move. I wrote that down. That's what I was going to write about. Now I'm on my ACB. And now I'm looking at these manuals. You have to pick 2 manuals for the ACB. And you have to do 5 speeches out of each one. So you write down which manual you're going to do and some ideas for speeches you want to give. Now I use my smartphone. I use my smartphone to give myself a way of keeping notes and mental notes to myself. I'm driving somewhere and I'm in traffic and my mind's going a million miles an hour and I'm thinking, you know, I'm thinking about something that happened at home, or I'm thinking about something that happened in a client situation. I'm thinking, wow, that was really a difficult day, blah, blah, blah. And my mind goes crazy and I go, there's a speech. And I get out my phone and I record speech about such and such. So, I was having a conversation with someone, and I am not a humorous person. I'm very serious most of the time. So the humorous speaking side of me needs some work. And so I'm going to do a little bit of the humorous speaking, right? But I'm not really funny. But sometimes things make me laugh. So I decided that when I find things that make me laugh, I'm going to write them down and I'm going to do a speech about them. Because if it makes me laugh, maybe I can tell other people why it makes me laugh. Storytelling. Every time I open my mouth to tell a story about something that happened when I was a kid, or when I was a young adult, or whatever, those are all stories. I make note, I write those down, and now I've got subjects for those speeches, so I'm ahead of the game. And those subjects are on this list in each of these sections. So I go, okay, I need another storytelling. What did I write down? Where was I when oh yeah, and I start to formulate that speech. My personal recommendation for writing is find a time of day that you have to yourself. And make sure you discipline yourself. Maybe you have a room in your house where you can, the light is good, enjoy a cup of coffee or tea, or a glass of milk, whatever. And you can kind of let your mind drift. That's the place you want to sit and write notes. I do recommend mind mapping. You write down every word that comes to mind having to do on that subject. All over the paper, everywhere. Not in the list necessarily, but all over the paper. Now, why do you write it all over the paper as opposed to a list? Well, when your mind moves from spot to spot to spot to spot, it's actually having to work harder than it is if you read a list. It's having to move. And when it moves, it creates. And when you create, you'll come up with a speech you like. Here's what I do. I come up with the beginning, and I come up with the end. The middle, sometimes the middle is what I wrote, and sometimes the middle is what I made up on the spot. As long as I have my beginning and I have my end, I feel in control of my speech. So my ideas on the paper are those beginnings and ends. But if you will look at this path to Distinguished Toastmaster, and you look at this in a different way, and in a way where you can pick and choose how you reach your DTM, you'll be a lot happier. So you are an actress, right? You may want to work on vocal variety or humor or inspiration or something. So you want to look at those manuals, and you want to look at the kinds of speeches that those manuals give, and then you need to see if that really fits you. Because you may think entertaining speaker fits you when in actuality storytelling does. Because it's not always obvious what the title of the manual is and whether it's going to work. Yes?
Okay, so
Yes.
in here it says, so I'm going for my ACS right now.
Okay.
So it says conduct 2 programs from the Better Speakers series and or the Successful Club series. So that means,
Those are different.
so those are different books.
Yeah.
Right, there's a series of each one. There's 5 or 6 books
Right.
in each one.
You can download those right off of the TI website.
And you can present those to a club, or you can participate in a club that's doing a series outside their club meetings for promotion for membership. So yeah, you can talk to Linda and see if anybody's doing any of the workshops. Or you can get together with a bunch of other people who want to give that series to build membership, and you can participate by giving one of those.
I actually had the same issue. It's like when you read these, it just doesn't make any sense. But when you see those little leaflet PDFs, once you print them out, then okay, now it makes a lot better sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of components to it, and they come with PowerPoint slides and the whole bit. So.
They're pretty basic. They're a lot more basic than you would think.
Yeah. And they're designed to promote Toastmasters to non-Toastmasters or to beginner Toastmasters.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Teach people how to public speak. There's a lot of, and then, the Successful Club series. It's designed to help a struggling club get better or a brand new club succeed. So there are speeches and workshops basically designed for that. And they are complete. They're designed by Toastmasters. You don't have to change a thing. All you have to do is present them.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Use
one of the requirements for the leadership is to do an 8PL, High Performance Leadership Project.
Right.
What's your recommendation of an easy way to pull that off?
Chair a contest. Be a contest chair. That's what I did. It's the easiest one for me, because you are helping either your division or your area or compete. You're basically managing a project, a very small contained project. You get a bunch of people to help you so that you're not doing this whole thing on your own, but you're the manager, you're the project manager. And so you oversee things like where it's going to be, how much it's going to run, how much it's going to cost. You run a budget. You meet with 3 other people who are your guidance counselors, and they help you. They've been there before. They help you to do this contest. I did the Division C contest last year. The brand new Toastmaster, I'm doing a Division C contest.
That was actually a great question, but you need to make it easier. You can assist someone with theirs, so then when you do it, you already know everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent
Yes,
suggestion. Yep.
absolutely. But there are other things. You can do a membership campaign. There are a lot of ways you can accomplish this HPL.
You can do an HPL as a club officer. Let's say you're president. My HPL is to get this club president distinguished, and my team and my officers below me and my club members. As long as you get a goal done through a team and go through the HPL to do that, it counts.
Okay.
Or as an area governor. I'm going to get my area distinguished or better.
So you have to be an area governor too?
No. Oh, yes, you have to be a district officer on your way to DTM.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to be an area governor.
An area governor or a secretary, treasurer, or public relations officer.
You can be an officer.
I'm a public relations already of my club.
No, we're talking at the district level.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You have to be a district officer for a year.
Okay.
That's for your advanced leader, silver.
And you've been an area governor, right? Have you been an area governor?
No, I'm not an area governor. I'm the vice president of public relations in my group.
Oh, okay. Consider being an area governor. We have a whole new need for them. July 1.
Oh, July?
Yeah, let's see. Are area governors voted on?
They're appointed. If you have an interest, let Joe Loisella know. She appoints them.
Okay, so yeah, I talked to her. Oh, no, I didn't talk to Joe. Okay.
But the 3 toughies on the way to DTM, from my perspective as a DTM and in this new program, serve as a district officer, chair, the HPL,
Right.
and mentoring or coaching a club. Those are the 3 toughies.
Now, mentoring a club is probably another fairly easy thing to do. If you join a club, or let's say you find out about a club that's just starting, and you attend that club and you advise them the way that club should run, what are the guidelines, what's branding about, all those things that you already know as a Toastmaster, and you stick with that club for 6 months, that job is finished.
Oh, okay.
So pick a club that you're really interested in, that you can attend those meetings and give the president, vice president of education, PRO, advice based on your experience with Toastmasters. When they start, most new clubs don't know that there's lectern etiquette. They don't know that there's table topics etiquette. They don't know those things. They've just started. There's usually no advanced Toastmasters in it. You mentor a club for 6 months and you teach them those things. You give, a speech during the 6 months. You make sure you're in there giving them educational speeches that are part of them growing into good Toastmaster clubs.
See, that's an excellent place to give some of the better speaker series or successful club series to a brand new club.
And you're satisfying 2 parts of that.
Okay, and then I'm giving a talk to the Los Angeles Parks and Recreations in April 4th.
Okay.
And so I'm going to do that about building Toastmasters, about joining Toastmasters. So
okay, if you're going to do that, make sure a Toastmaster attends and get it evaluated.
Recording it too.
Get your speech evaluated, make it a manual speech.
Okay.
And that's actually a key trick you will hear from some of the governors, is if you want to progress ahead, any of the type speeches you get, always try to make sure there's another Toastmaster there and evaluate, and you'll get credit for that speech.
The talk I gave earlier today, I had evaluated by a Toastmaster in the room. So it was a manual speech.
Cool.
And I'm evaluating this one for her.
Well, I can't do 2 in one day. So it
Oh,
has to
that's
be just
right.
that one.
Oh, you can't?
No, one per day.
That's why when you do a marathon, you can only give 1 speech that day.
Okay. But you instigate, but that would be a function that you would instigate in your club, in your group.
Right.
You would say, promote, let's all do a marathon.
Yeah.
right? And then you'd be the instigator.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
Where the benefit comes out, where you're limited, it makes other people participate too. So rather than one person give 2 or 3 speeches and the other people not get a chance, everyone is going to probably have to share responsibilities.
Right.
Now remember, anytime you are acting as a person who's guiding a club, your club or a new club into doing something, you are acting as the point of contact. You're acting as the leader. In the corporate world, they call that project manager. So you're actually getting project manager experience in Toastmasters. Anytime you have to manage a group of people to all go in one direction to do something, you're managing a project. Think of it that way. If you're managing a project, what kinds of things do you have to deal with? Well, you have to deal with organization, time, budget, personnel, moving forward in that same direction. And then you want to make sure it comes in under budget, on time, everybody's satisfied, they're all getting something out of it, and then in the end, you could go to your boss and say, this is completed. That's an HPO. Okay? Any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
So let's talk about